My name is Rory. I'm talking to you guys once again. Just to remind you guys, I'm the activity manager at the USAID Geo Center for the YouthMappers project. Basically, if you guys knew Chad, filling into his role. So let's get started without further ado. So this week's topic is mapping unmapped places in OpenStreetMap. And this session is going to be recorded, so you'll be able to watch it later in case you missed anything. If you have questions, there'll be time for everyone to ask questions. This won't be the longest demo in the world. And but if you want to type them in chat as well, please feel free. Dara will take a look at them and ask them. Cool. So just told you guys who I was, told you what I'm going to talk about, and I'll make sure that you guys know why you should care about mapping unmapped places as well. But it'd be nice to hear from you guys why that's important as well. So just something to think about while you listen to the presentation. So some background, this guy, Pascal Nice, ran studies in 2010, 2011, and 2016. But the most recent one was in January of this year, basically looking for places that were underrepresented in OpenStreetMap. And kind of unmapped is maybe not the best, most accurate term for it, but it's just an easy one to use. That's why I'm using that. And it gets people's attention. So what was his methodology? Basically, he looked in OpenStreetMap data using the planet file to look at places that were tagged as village, because even New York City, London, and Cape Town, all the big cities in the world are tagged as villages, because that's just the tagging nomenclature for a place where people live, a settlement. And then basically he looked within 700-kilometer radius of those tags to see if there were any roads around there. And if he couldn't find any roads within a 700-kilometer buffer, he marked the places unmapped. And then he was able to find, I think, like hundreds of thousands of places that were like this. So what did I do? What did Rory do? Well, I joined the data that he created, this guy Pascal created, with natural earth data. They have an administrative boundaries GIS layer. And I filtered it, that data set by country. And then I created projects in MapRoulette, just as an example, so you guys can see what it looks like. And if you guys are interested in your chapter, maybe mapping these unmapped places in your country or in your region, there'll be a form for you guys to fill out, and we can discuss setting one up for you guys. So now I'll just kind of show you the process of what I did. So I use Terminal for a lot of my basic GIS skills tasks, because I don't like using my mouse to click things. So this probably won't mean too much to you guys. Whoops. But it's just a way to kind of logically break down the steps that you might be using in a GIS like QGIS or ArcMap or something like that, and just to write it in a code command. So basically, the GIS part are these last three kind of tasks that are in the light blue color. So this one is to filter, because it's a really large file. So I filtered the administrative boundaries by the country I'm interested in. I then used that file to clip the unmapped places, which are points. And then I joined the two data sets together. So the unmapped places file would have a country attribute in its data, and I could then filter the points by that data. So to do that, basically all I had to do now is go make, and then country equals, and then I choose a country. So I'm going to do Brazil. And it runs the little script. And of course, when you do a demo, it never works as you intended. Because I misspelled Brazil, obviously. So let me run it again. And then you can see at the bottom here, that it found 786 unmapped places, according to this definition of them, for Brazil. The next thing I did was load the data into, let me exit this, MapRoulette, and created a challenge. And so I'm going to check it out. I didn't publish it, so I have to go this way to it. So I did Ghana and Mozambique. So let's check out Ghana, because I think I did a Mozambique example the last time I did one of these trainings. And you can see here on the main map view that there are a good amount of unmapped places. This is a little bit outdated, right? It's from January, so not all of them might be still unmapped, because I know Ghana has a very active community. You guys are doing a great job. But let's test this out. Let's start the challenge and see just a couple examples of unmapped places. I'm gonna skip this one. That one looks like it's pretty well mapped. Looks well mapped. But how about this one? Let's check it out. So you can see there's detailed instructions here about what to do to map the roads and any buildings that you can see that are in these unmapped places, and to connect it to the larger national road network. That's one of the really important aspects of this project, I think. That would be really important, is to make sure that it connects to the national road network system. So it's not just this, village, unconnected village that's floating in the middle of nowhere. So let's check this out by clicking edit, and it'll open up ID. And you can see here that there is a village POI here, but no roads. So zooming out, it even has a boundary for a residential area, which is awesome. And it has, I believe, a mosque identified as well. And so what I would do here is connect the village to this national road system, following the guidelines for Ghana of what type of roads to add, et cetera, et cetera. I'm assuming most people here know how to use ID editor, so I'm not going to give a training on that. But yeah, that's basically what I would do. And this one's pretty easy, since the national road network, a big road runs through it right here. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to bring up my presentation though. Go full screen. So yeah, we'll share this presentation with everyone. And like I said, there'll be a form for you guys to fill out if you're interested in creating a MapRoulette challenge for unmapped places for your chapter. It's a really easy form. It'll take you 2 or 3 minutes. Marcella created it, so you know it's good. And at that, I just wanted to open it up to discussion, see if people have questions, and see if you guys think this would be a useful project for your chapter to do. So I'm going to stop sharing and check out chat.
And everyone right now, you're muted, but I'm happy to unmute you if you just put in the chat, like, I have a question.
Or even if you just want to share your thoughts on if this is an important project, or if you think this was not really important for your chapter, things like that would be interesting to hear as well. Has anyone had the chance to use MapRoulette yet, or create a task? If not, you can always check out the last presentation I did, which is on the YouthMappers YouTube channel, where I explain how to use it. Are you guys surprised that there's that many unmapped places in OpenStreetMap? I feel like for a map that's been around since what, 2007. It seems like having hundreds of thousands of unmapped places is still means there's a lot of work to do. Sorry, what's that?
Andy in the chat said that he's from Ghana and that he hasn't seen places like that before.
Has or hasn't, sorry.
He said hasn't. Andy, are you able to unmute and share?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I was like, I just realized that this even a place in Ghana, you know. So I'm at the southern part of Ghana, so I was just even surprised. I know there are places like that, but I was just surprised that the whole thing, yeah, like that. Like, I mean, like there's a place like that in Ghana, yeah. So I was just surprised. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty small place and pretty remote, but yeah, I was surprised too that there was a lot of places that don't have representation on the map, and there's a lot of consequences for that, right? If something isn't on the map, a lot of the people at USAID might not know about it, right? They won't know that there's a place there that needs relief or help during a crisis or disaster, or, you know, for targeting with government services and things like that. So I think it's a pretty important task to make sure at least we know that these places exist and that they are connected to the road network, so people can travel to them and understand that there's people living there. Should we do this for another country? Does anyone want me to do it for a country that they live in? We can run it really quick and see. We can create an example task live. Nope, no volunteers. It's all right.
Rory, we have a request from Ingrid to do Uganda.
All right, let's do Uganda. So I'm going to share my screen again, just so you can see me do my work. Share, desktop, and going into terminal. So change it from Brazil to Uganda. Let's see how many it can find. 2,768 records. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to create a MapRoulette task for Uganda, and we can see it on the map there, and maybe check out a place or two. Create and manage, YouthMappers. I'm going to clone this one because I want the same instructions. I'm just going to change the name. I'm going to say Uganda unmapped places. I'm going to leave everything else the same as far as the instructions go. And I'm going to add the file I just created. And it's going to be here. It's going to be under mapped OSM. And then you can see the file I created. And it's loaded. Next. Next. Finish. And it will take a second because it's uploading the map file. And we have a couple thousand places. If you were to guess, which part of Ghana would have the most unmapped places, which part of the country would you guess? Would it be the north, center, east, west, south, southwest, southeast? Don't look. Oh, it's pretty evenly distributed. So I see a lot in the center here, a lot in the northwest over here, but throughout the country. So let's check out a random one. So let's see why this place is on the map, even though it looks like there's a lot of data there. I would say this one is pretty okay, just by quickly looking at it. We should check out different satellite versions in case there's clouds or some are more updated than the others. But this one looks fairly good. I guess you could add some small path features to connect these buildings. But it looks pretty good. So I would go back to MapRoulette. I'd probably add a couple paths to do it and mark it as already fixed and provide a comment about it right there. So I'm going to cancel that one and skip it for now. I'm doing a demo, so want to show other places. This place looks more promising. Sorry for my slow internet. I blame the rain. So this place is marked as a village with a name. And I would add some paths to connect it to the rest of the network and add the buildings as well. Cool. So yeah, that was another example of a country that we could use. Any other questions? Did that inspire anyone for questions?
Rory, we have quite a few requests for more examples in the chat. So I don't know if we have time for all of them, but if you want to check out the chat, we have requests for Zambia, Nepal, Zanzibar, I hope I said that right, and then Senegal. And then Andy was asking a question about like the technology behind, do we need any skills in coding to do this?
Nope, but I would be happy to teach you guys if we want to set up a project for your country or for your chapter using these tools to show you how I did it for the coding. But if you wanted just to do the MapRoulette setup yourself, I could just send you a file for your country and then you could do the rest yourself. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. So I will share this presentation. There'll be a link to the forum to request assistance related to setting up a MapRoulette challenge for unmapped places. And we can talk from there and we'll figure it out, whatever works best for your chapter. Yeah, I don't think I'll do any more countries right now. So please use the form once it's sent out and we can work from there.
And there was also a comment that this individual really liked the idea to map village names. Previously, they manually used JOSM. So really cool.
Yeah, so that's one thing to also you guys could do while you're doing this is check the village POI tag to see if there is a name attached to it. And if there isn't, and you know the name of the village, you should add it. Yeah, so no, like I said, no skills for coding, but I'm happy to show you how what coding tools I used for this in case you're interested. Yeah. Then I saw another interesting comment from John who wants to upload OSM data for Ghana for street lines. I'm sure there's some people from one of the Ghana YouthMapper chapters that you could connect with and discuss this more with. I don't know if there's any volunteers, but you guys should connect in chat about that. Cool. Yeah, I think if there's not any more questions or comments, we can keep it pretty brief and end it now. So if there's not any other
I have a
questions,
question.
yep, please. Go
All
ahead.
right. When I wanted to find out when it's detecting the areas where there are no map, the areas which has not yet been mapped, does it uses the current image? Because I'm looking at the situation where maybe this area is just being developed recently. So in that premiere, which type of imagery does it require?
Yeah, thanks. Great question. So it doesn't use imagery for detecting this. It uses just OpenStreetMap data. So the process, let me pull my PowerPoint back up. Share screen, share. So you can see the methodology that I did not use. This is not me doing this. This is someone way more talented in OpenStreetMap coding and data analysis, Pascal. And so what he did was, excuse me, only look at places that had the village node. So where the POI is place equals village. And then he did a buffer. So he said, look, give me a circumference of 700 meters, or sorry, a diameter of 700 meters from that location, and look for streets. If you don't see any streets in that area, then he considered it an unmapped location. And so this was done in January of 2020. And so since then, a lot of the places might have been mapped and have some data added to them, but not all of them. So you might find some that have already been mapped, but I doubt all of them have. I bet a majority of them have not been mapped. Hopefully that answers your question. So it was independent of imagery. It was just done a couple of months ago, so it might have been fixed. Some of these places might have been mapped since it's been run. It's a pretty tough analysis to run for the whole world, and it takes a lot of time and computing power and storage costs, so he doesn't do it very often. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. See if I missed any questions in chat. Yeah, so you're right. If so, Shadrach had a good point that maybe the name is not the best name to be using. So please suggest better names, and I will update it accordingly. Cool. Well, I think if there's no more questions, we will wrap things up there. Stay tuned. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Rory. I think Chamba may have raised his hand, and then also Andy asked, how can we get to you any official handle? I think that's your Twitter.
Oh, you want my Twitter? There you go.
And then Chamba, did you have a question?
I think he asked.
Yes, but I understood the question. I wanted to find out if, for example, here in Zambia, if you can try to search by province, not as the whole country. Maybe I was looking at maybe if I have a project that is to do with a certain part of area, but I don't want to search the whole country if it is possible. But now looking at the 700 meters, I think it's giving the overall, so it's fine. I understand.
So yeah, it is possible to do it by province. It'll take a couple of extra steps. Do you have a shapefile or GIS data for provinces in your country?
Yes.
So we can do basically a traditional GIS methodology of doing a spatial join to attach the kind of what I did with the countries, but we can do it also with the provinces. So only show us the points where you that overlap spatially with the province you're interested in. So if you fill out the form and mention that in the comment section of it, we'll be able to connect more offline and discuss it. And I saw another question, if I could share the code on Git. And yep, I will create a little gist because it's not a complicated enough code to make its own repository for, that I can share with you guys. It requires Node.js to be installed and a package called Map Shaper. Just FYI. Cool. I like trying to end the discussion because I feel like it makes people ask more questions. So, one more time, I think if there aren't any more questions, feel free to ask them though. If there aren't any more, I would like to say thank you guys for attending this session. And I look forward to continuing to work with you guys on this type of project and setting one up for your chapters. I think using MapRoulette is a really neat tool to do small tasks like this and very specific tasks, as opposed to the tasking manager. And I would like to just thank everyone for attending. Cool. So expect that follow-up email. Stay safe and be smart, and looking forward to talking. Take care, everyone. Bye.